Hello, it's Wendy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my go-to version of a scarf design. This is a half double crochet in the third loop. It's pretty easy to do and the effect is fantastic. It makes a nice stretchy, cozy fabric and it almost has what looks like a row of knitting down the length of the fabric. This shows it done in two colors, and you see the green stripes on one side and the white on the other side. So it gives a really neat effect when you put the two together. I also did a sample for you in three colors. I think this would be great for a little girl who likes unicorns. So I did a white, pink, white, purple combination, and you'll see that on the one side, because every second row is white, I've got the white lengthwise stripes with the wider colorful ones in between, and on the back it shifts from pink to purple. So again, another really neat effect using three colors but over 4 rows. So I did white, purple, white, pink, and so on. And in 4 colors, it looks like this. So it's kind of an Easter color combination. So on the one side, it highlights the pink and the purple, and on the other side, the teal and the green. It's great for scarves because you're only doing 1 row with each color, and if you leave a length at the end, you can incorporate that into a fringe when you're done. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make the 2-color version, because that will really highlight how to do this design. So what we need for this is 2 colors of yarn. I'm just using Bernat satin yarn in the green and the white. And I have started off with a chain of 31. But the idea is to chain enough for the whole length of your scarf. So if you want it to be, 40 inches long or 50 inches long, that's how long you would make your chain. It's going to be worked lengthwise. So it's not a lot of rows, but it's long. I did my chain with a half size larger hook than what I am going to be using. So I used a 5 for the chain because I find when I'm working in the back loops on the chain, it does pull it up a little bit tighter, and you don't want to have the one side of your scarf pulling in along the length. So I started with a half a millimeter bigger, and now I'm working with a 4.5 millimeter. So again, just make a chain whatever length of the scarf or the cowl or the project that you are making. And then I am going to do a half double crochet in the back bumps. So yarn over, under the back bump, pick up the yarn and go through all 3. Yarn over, through the next back bump, go through all 3. So you can use any number of chains, it really doesn't matter. So I did a half double crochet across the length of my chain, and you'll see when you work in the back bumps that you get a nice chain effect on the other side as well. When you get to the last stitch, we're going to switch colors, so don't pull that last one through. We need to switch colors first. So leaving the last half double crochet with the last draw through unworked, go to your other color, leaving a length for the tassel or the fringe, and pull that one through for your last pull through, and that will change colors. Now I'm going to cut the green yarn, and I'll reattach it at the other end of the scarf. And if you like, you can tie the the two ends together, but you don't have to. You could just do that at the end. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 2 to turn. 1, 2, turn it clockwise. Now here's the trick to this stitch pattern. Typically, we would go under the V at the top of the work, right? Or sometimes just in the back loop or just in the front loop. But for this half double crochet in the third loop, we're going to ignore those two and tip them away from us and go under this third loop on the back of the work. Okay, so if you're looking for it, you'll see you've got kind of your legs of your stitches here. It's in between, so it's directly behind the two at the top. So tip it away from you and go underneath this third one, which is behind the one you would typically go in, and it lays across right behind. Pick up the yarn, go through all 3. Yarn over again into this one. Okay, it's the one that's behind the V at the top. And that's what makes the neat vertical stripe effect, because it tips the V in the top of the half double crochet to the back of the work away from you. So I'm going to work the rest of this white row, and when I get to the last stitch, I'll come back. I'm almost at the end of the white row. I've got 2 left, and then I'll show you where to put your hook for the final one, because that is another aspect of this stitch pattern that you need to remember. So again, I'm going to go into this one, which is at the back of the work behind the V. It might be awkward if you've never used this loop before, but it gets a lot more comfortable as you go. Okay, so I've got 1 left to do, but there's no more crossways loops there. So for the final one, and to hold the end of the scarf solid, keep it from flaring out, I'm going to go just underneath that turning chain. Okay, so right there at the end of the turning chain. And again, I'm going to switch colors. So I'm going to snip the white, go back to the green, leaving a length for my fringe, and pull the green one through. Chain 2 to turn. So there's our first 2 rows done. Yarn over underneath this very first crossways one. So there's my V at the top, my first white V, and when you switch colors you can really see better which is the first one to do. These 2 green ones are the turning chain. This white one is my first half double crochet, and the loop at the back is the back loop of, or the third loop of my first half double crochet. So that's where I'm going to put my hook and pull through all 3. So the turning chain is simply to turn. It doesn't count as a half double crochet. And working across under that back loop, the third loop. Don't be tricked into thinking it's this one that's coming out of the middle of the stitch. It's the one that's in between the legs. See how you've got the sets of legs here? We don't want this one that's coming out of the legs. We want the one that's in between, right behind the V at the top. When I get to the end of this green row, we'll do one more white row, and then you will have an idea of how to do this. At the end of the green row, again, I've done all the crossways ones, but I need one more stitch. So I'm going to go under the turning chain, cut the green one, and pick up the white. But like I showed you with the samples, you can use any number of colors really. Chain 2 and turn. This is meant to work back and forth. It doesn't work in the round. So if you wanted to do something like a cowl or something else in the round, you would have to go back and forth and either just turn and go back, joining the ends together, or seam it up afterwards. So I'm going to pretend that this is my last row in the scarf. Go under the turning chain, pull the white one through because this is going to be my final row. Pull another one through to anchor it. Cut the yarn. And there you have your half double crochet in the third loop. So the white V's will be on this side and the green ones will be on the other side. So overall you end up with that kind of an effect, which I think is really attractive and kind of got a neat reversible look to it. Now on this end I added some fringe to fill that out, make it look a little fuller, and to hide those cut ends. Now there's one more thing you could look at here. You can see that on our starting side here, it looks like we have 2 rows of V's beside each other. And when I ended with just a green row, it looks like that. If I want to make them match, what I typically do with this is on the green row, go back to the beginning of the row again. So you're going to end up doing 2 facing side rows, right? I just did this one from right to left. I'm going to attach the yarn into the third loop and working from the facing side. You don't have to do this, but it does look kind of neat. And then, so here's my V. I'm going to go into the same third loop, but from the top instead of, or from the front instead of from the back. There we go. Pick up a loop and just do a slip stitch into the next one. Pick up a loop, do a slip stitch. So that again, the V's end up across the face, and the slip stitches make another row of V's on the back or just behind it. That's the last one. Then I'll just pull the yarn through, and now the 2 sides look very similar to each other, and so does the back or the front. There's not really a front or a back to this, is there? So there you have it, my go-to stitch pattern for a quick, cozy, and colorful scarf. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop me a comment if you tried this out for yourself. I'd love to hear from you. And please like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos and come back for more crochet tutorials. Have a super day.